Hey guys, it's Pops Reviews, and look what I have here. I have Downey Games brings you TV Pro Wrestling 2 presented in color. So I just recently purchased this game. As you saw from the last video I did, I purchased a game from Downey Games called Ultra Quick Wrestling, which I really liked. I enjoyed it. It's a quick action little wrestling game. Like kind of like you're GMing the matches, and but it does lack the substance in the match, right? But it is what it is, and I like it for what it is. It's a GMing type of wrestling game with the little stories to get the storylines going. So I really do enjoy that game, and of course I play other wrestling games like the Phil Singer games and as well as the Squared Circle. Each of these games has something that they bring to the table that's different from the other that makes it enjoyable, brings out something different in a wrestling game that that you're missing from one or the other, but still all of them are very enjoyable in their own ways. And so I saw on the actual Downey Games website that they have some different wrestling games. And so I saw one in particular was this TV Pro Wrestling 2 presented in color. And I was doing some research. I saw one other gentleman on YouTube. His name is Anthony uh, Barriasi or something like that, to that extent. He was the only other guy I saw that actually talked about this game, but he didn't show any gameplay of it or anything. He just kind of talked about it and was kind of disappointed, I guess, at the time because I guess Downey Games you were able to maybe have them ship the game to you, and so I guess in his video he was disappointed that he didn't get certain cards that didn't come, um, and then at the time I think his mail service was bad. Um, so I don't know, slight negative, I guess. I felt like it was a slight negative video on this game, and then he didn't do any gameplays of it, kind of just putting it on the shelf kind of deal. Um, but I decided I did like from his video like the way the game I guess looked, and after doing more reviews, I read a review on actually the Phil Singer boards. Someone had reviewed this game and had nothing but kind words to say about this game, and I was like, wow, and I checked out some of the different expansions. They have all kinds of old wrestlers and that. So I decided, I'll take the plunge. I'll see what this game is all about. And I just want to say I've played quite a few games of this already, and I have nothing but good things to say about this game. Okay, it is one of the top wrestling games, right up there with all the other top games that you might have played for wrestling. This game is right up there with all those other games, and it is something very, very special. And so you know, I'm gonna do a little playthrough for you guys. I'll do a bit of the, the rules and how to play this game here, and uh, you know, I know some people might have thought this game was really complicated. It really isn't once you start to get the flow of the game, and you know what you're looking for. This game plays actually really easy. Okay, and so I'm gonna show you kind of like what everything that kind of comes with the game here, really, essentially here. So again, this is Downey Games TV Pro Wrestling 2. So I purchased off their site, Downey Games. I'll try to remember to put a link on in the description. Um, so I purchased. There's a few different sets you're going to need. Either the core parts to purchase, or there's a deluxeified version. I think it was $25. I think if I remember correctly, and you're paying when you pay for the deluxeified version, you're gonna get the instructions. You're gonna get some charts. You're gonna get a few charts, and you also get a few bonus wrestlers, and then you also will get two. two expansions to play with. One is the 2011 WWE game, and one is the 2011 TNA. Now, this game uses real wrestlers, but it is not a licensed wrestling game, right? So, if people out there, if you have problems with, this not being a licensed game, I guess this is not for you. This is not, we credit Phil Singer for the job that they do with licensed wrestlers. And this game here is not a licensed wrestling game, but like I said in my other video before, if you are, turning your nose at non-licensed wrestling games, but then playing Stratomatic football, baseball, replay basketball, whatever other sport game you play, I would think about where your morals lie, kind of thing, a bit, So, but with that all being said, I'm not going to go into all that. But this game is truly a really good game. It's a really, really good wrestling game. What makes it a good wrestling game? Well, okay. Well, first off, you have your instruction booklet. Now, Downey Games doesn't ship games anymore, to my knowledge. Everything that I saw in there was all you have to purchase PDFs. And another thing too, like this game was developed by, I believe his name is Jeff Bruiser Costa. I think he was the original guy that developed this game back, I think in maybe the 70s or 80s. And I think the story is that he developed this game and then he went to, I believe, Jeff Downey to try and make a really good wrestling game. And so they made TV Pro Wrestling, and that is the first version. And so I don't have the first version of TV Pro Wrestling. I have TV Pro Wrestling 2, and so apparently that maybe got it was well received by whoever played the game, and then they upgraded it to this version now, which is probably the most current version, TV Pro Wrestling 2, presented in color. Now, so when you print this off, like I said, you're going to get this instruction booklet here, and so you have your instruction booklet. There's also an original instruction booklet that you can get to see how the original game played way back when. I'm not going to show that because it's more like for S&Gs really. And you also will get, now this is how kind of like the game looks with these characters here. Sorry for any glares here. So you're gonna get a bunch of different charts. So let me show you the different charts that you get here. So there is a pre-match. If you can see that pre-match event possibility chart. There is a in-match event chart. There is a post-match event chart. And then there is a wild event chart. Okay, so you get 4 different charts. And then you also get this kind of tracking system, essentially, that you have one side, the red is for the face, and then the blue is for the heel. So, you could kind of track it that way. They also have paper that you could print out to track your matches as well. So they have that as well. You could do it that way. And yeah, so and then obviously too, if you want to probably track your matches by a computer, you're able to do that as well. If you want to do it that way, I guess, if you have an Excel or whatever, so you could do that. So there's that, and then you have, you have the different wrestlers. So it actually came with 5 bonus wrestlers in the game if you purchase it. So there was Hulk Hogan, who was a bonus wrestler. So this is what the cards look like. I had to print the cards out. I went to my local Staples here, and I printed the cards. So this is essentially what it looks like when you have a sheet of cards with wrestlers, this is how they have it in their PDF format. Okay, so as you can see, this is like a WWE 2011 sheet here. So you have to, for me, I cut all these out individually, and I used 100 pound paper stock for this game for what I printed out. So going back to the bonus wrestlers, so there's Hulk Hogan, and then they also have as a bonus wrestler, there's Ric Flair, and there's a George the Animal Steel card. So these are what the cards are looking like here. I'll go through what the cards, what they do, or how they play out. And I believe Ox Baker, and was there a fifth person? Yes, the fifth person here is Bruiser Costa, who we're gonna use in the match. Now it's funny. It's funny that Bruiser Costa, he has himself in the game because he was an actual wrestler, so that's pretty cool. And we're gonna use him in this game here. So the whole thing with this game is, how do you play this game, right? So the first thing is, well, you choose a wrestler. So here we have Bruno Sammartino, and you're gonna have these different ratings. I'm gonna go through all these different ratings here, and he's gonna take on Bruiser Costa. Okay, so I'm gonna show you what all these different things are. So if we go to Bruno, so for this to play this game, you're gonna need 3 6-sided dice. Okay, so I have a blue, red, and white dice. Okay, so the blue dice will represent Bruiser Costa. The red dice will represent Sammartino. So that's why I have it kind of color coded. And then you're going to have charts. Each wrestler is going to have charts. So this here is Brawler. I'll explain this in a second. They're going to have charts, and it's going to roll from, with the 6-sided dice, you're going to have one dice that represents the 10, and the other dice will be the single dice. So you're going to have the chart here, and then whatever you roll, it will tell you what your move is here. Okay, so you have these charts here, and these are the dice that you need to play. So you need at least 3 of them. Okay, now going back to the wrestler. So when you have your wrestler, it's going to tell you. So this here is control roll. So for Bruno, he has a +1 to his control roll. So anytime he rolls his dice, and let's say he gets a 3, now it becomes a 4. Okay, so that's his control roll. For Bruiser Costa, he's a -1 on his control roll. So if he rolls a 4, now it becomes a 3. So Bruiser Costa obviously wasn't as good, obviously, as Bruno Sammartino, the living legend here. Bruiser Costa might have been possibly an enhancement talent. That's why he's even -1 on his control roll. So you have that. Okay, and then you actually have a cut rating. So guys could possibly get cut in this game, and then you'd roll the 2 dice, the blue and the red, and then you'd check to see if it's between 11 to 23, then Bruno Sammartino with cut. But anything over 23, at 24 and up, would mean he is not cut. Then you have your tag, and your tag is actually for if he has a tag partner, and Bruno wants to try and break up the count, he has to roll between 11 and 36 to be able to break up the count. So then you're only able to use that one time in the match if you have a tag match for each guy. Then you have Savvy. Savvy is for if a wrestler is getting pinned, you could use Savvy to automatically kick out, or if he's in a submission hold that he made it to the ropes. So that's what Savvy is. So for Bruiser Costa, you can see he doesn't have any Savvy, but Sammartino does. So that's what Savvy does. So that's kind of showing a difference between the wrestlers there. And then you have your pin. So your pin rating is if Bruiser Costa, let's say, is trying to pin Bruno, then he needs to roll between 11 and 22 to get to pin Bruno Sammartino. As opposed to Bruiser Costa, to pin him, it's an 11 to 31. You can see for the submissions, To submit Bruno, you need to roll between 11 and 16. For Bruiser Costa, it's 11 to 26. Your endurance, the endurance here is a 10, so Bruno Sammartino has 10 life points. Bruiser Costa has 8 life points. You have your disqualifications. Your disqualifications, if Bruno rolls an 11 to 15, he's disqualified. Anything over, he is not disqualified. And Bruiser Costa is an 1152, so he's someone that possibly would get disqualified if he rolls for disqualification. Then you have your finisher counter. So if someone hits their finishing move, you're automatically able to use this, and then you're able to automatically counter and have a control roll against the wrestler. So the pin wouldn't happen. Essentially, it's almost like he's hulking up or whatever, and then he would take over instead of the guy using his finisher. As you can see, Bruiser Costa doesn't have any. Okay, so now we go to the style that your wrestler is able to choose. So Bruno has 2 different styles he could choose from. He could either be a brawler or he could be a power guy. And whatever style, you're only able to choose one. And so a brawler, I chose brawler for him. And there's differences between the styles. So brawler is more, he's going to be more punch and kick type of guy, wrestling in the match, as opposed to a power guy. A power guy is more of a guy that's able to do more lifting moves, okay? So some wrestlers, you're able to choose the styles, and there's different styles. There's brawler, there's power, there's, what else do we have here? There's a plotter. So plotter's a guy that's like an Andre the Giant type character. There's a high flyer, there's technical, there's all around, and they all have different ways that they are used in the match. Okay, so some guys like Bruno are able to choose which they want to be. So for this particular match, I chose him as a brawler, and for Bruiser Costa, he's a madman. So his stuff is more geared toward things that are more animalistic, and biting and all that type of stuff. That's probably more on the madman's card. Guys that like George the Animal Steel would probably be like a madman. So that's his style. That's the only style he has. So that's the style. That's his default style that you have to choose. But Sammartino is able to choose between one and the other, and you are able to choose which one would benefit your wrestler. Okay. Okay, and then also now you also have little I would call like an attribute, I guess. So for Sammartino is strength. For Bruiser Costa is heavy. So heavy guys cannot be picked up by guys that don't have strength. So strength, like Bruno is able to pick up Bruiser Costa, but if Bruno didn't have strength, then any kind of heavy lifting move like a body slam or any kind of suplex or any of that kind of thing, anything that has to lift up Bruiser Costa, he wouldn't be able to do if he didn't have the strength. So as you can see, that's already like a benefit of trying to like separate smaller guys from bigger guys, and that certain moves won't work on the bigger guys, and they would automatically get a reversal, and they would hit you for a point instead, kind of thing. So that's how kind of that system works. And for each move that's done on these cards here, so any move that's done on this card here is usually doing 1 point of damage. So Bruiser Costa has an endurance of 8, so any move that Bruno rolls on his brawler chart here is doing 1 point of damage. So then we would move Bruiser Costa's endurance up 1, right? So I'm trying to get this in the shot here, hopefully. There is an endurance track. I'll try and show this here. So there's an endurance track here on the side that you could use. So if if something, let's say Bruno's at 8 and Bruiser Costa does a chop block, let's just say, that does 1 point of damage. So then his 8 would go down to a 7. So there is a fatigue system in this game here. Then there's moves like turnbuckle ram +2. So this is telling you that it's doing +2 damage. So then you would, if he was at his 8, he would be down to 6. Okay, so everything here is on these charts, and it's just knowing what, you're just kind of just doing what the card says, right? If it's like an eye gouge, then, he could possibly be DQ'd. But if it's the babyface that was using the Madman's card, then he wouldn't do the DQ, he would do an arm twist. So, so there's certain keywords here that you just have to know that help. If you have, like, say, an ally, a manager, you could use their card instead of the DDT for a pin. You could use the ally card to help you interfere. Excuse me. So sometimes I don't have any manager cards to show you actually with this actual set. There is some other expansions that you could purchase that do have the managers for this game, but this particular set actually didn't have a manager, which is kind of funny. Then you also have moves that are like double team. So if you have a tag team match, then you're able to pull off double team moves. And there's also tag team cards in here. So here's one I'll show you. Say for instance, they have like the Road Warriors. So the Road Warriors, they have like double team moves. So then you'd be able to probably pull off one of these double team moves here, if that's rolled on your specialty card. Okay. And there's also, it's thrown out of the ring. So here you throw over the top rope out of the ring. So then the wrestlers would be out of the ring. And cut if if the foreign object here would do +2, and then you would have to check a disqualification roll and then do a cut roll to see if your wrestler got cut from that. And then there's also things that could lead to the chart, to different charts here. So here's at 65, there's an in-match event. So if you roll that, then you'd have to roll on the in-match event chart and see what happens for the match. These charts that are in the game, in-match event, pre-match, and whatnot, they're more like the in-match will work if you play for a regular game, but like a pre-match is something if you have more of a season in the game. So I'll get back to the wrestling card to show you, I guess, how that would work. But usually these charts you can only roll once on them, and then after that you have to alternate it for a 2-point move. So now we're showing what 2-point moves are. So in this game you have 2-point moves, and you notice that these cards are color coded. So if you roll dice, they will color code to tell you what the move is that your guy has done for a 2-point move. So a 2-point move is the wrestler's signature move. So for Bruno, his signature moves his real signature move is a body slam. We'll come back to that one because that's in darker print. We'll say what that does in a sec. But then he has atomic drop, reverse chin lock, press slam, suplex, lariat, suplex, and lariat. And those are all color coded by if he rolls a certain dice here, and that will tell you what move he does for a 2-point move. Again, this will make sense once I play the match here. And then he has his finishers. So you could see if you roll for A, it'll be C, submission. And then his submission down here is a bear hug. And they have a number in front of that in the parentheses. So that means the bear hug is doing adding 13. It would add 13 and it'd be a submission move. So then Bruno here, if he was adding 13, that would be 26, 29. So now it would be 11 to 29 to submit him if he was wrestling against himself. The other number on the outside is how much damage the move does. So this is doing 5 points of damage. So you would do the 5 points of damage to the guy. And then after you would add the 13 to the submission and then try and roll to see if the wrestler submitted from Bruno's bear hug. And as well, he also has a a backbreaker, and an elbow drop plus pin. So, so you're seeing what the finishers are. Excuse me. And then you have your rep points. So rep points are if you play a season, if you have a federation, you could start off your guys with rep points. They tell you that you could do, say, like start off the top guy with 20 points. I think they separated between faces and heels, where the top guy has 20, and then the next guy that you have 19, 18 go down. And I think the rest of the roster, once you get down to 3 or 2, then everyone kind of stays the same at either 1, 2, or 3 or whatever it is. That I'd have to relook at again. And then there's also a heat check. So again, it's kind of like the ultra quick wrestling where, you have your top guy, your top baby face. So if it was Bruno, let's say he's at 10 heat. And then if this was the next guy in line, then he'd be at 9 heat. And you'd have a side for your faces, ranking them, and a side for your heels, ranking them. And then this would play into effect if you have pre-match charts to roll on. There's heat checks that you could do, and that would tell you, what would happen during a pre-match event and whatnot. We're not really going to be using that because I'm not trying to play a season here. I'm just kind of just demonstrating the game a bit for you guys. So you have that, and is there anything else here? Oh yes. Okay. So you also have fatigue in this game. So so Bruno's endurance is at 8 or 10. Sorry, he's at 10. So that's pretty strong endurance actually for this game, because usually guys are around like average about probably 7, let's just say 7 to 8, right? Bruno's at a 10, so that's pretty strong. He's pretty durable and tough here. So you would have him at 10. Once he reaches to the 0, then he becomes tired. So when he becomes tired, then you start to add this bonus to his pin rating, and submission rating. So now, if he was at 0, now he's become actually a +3. So that would be 11 to 25. And you keep, every time he goes down by 5, then you would add another 3. So now 25 would be a 28. And then if he gets to -10, if he matches his endurance number on the negative side, he's now become exhausted. And if he becomes exhausted, then he's a little more easier to pin, because there are a few charts here that you have to roll, and I'm going to get to those now. So if he is exhausted, there's a chart called a high spot chart. This is how do you get to this chart? Is you roll. When you roll for control, you're also going to roll this. You're going to roll this die, and if it turns out to be a 6, then you go to the high spot chart. So you go to there's the high spot chart, and there's high spot tired. So when you roll a 6, it allows you to make a roll onto this chart here, and this is where you see you got your 2-point moves and finishers to be able to end the match. And if a guy's exhausted, usually if you roll this high spot chart, you can get there on a 6 or a 1 if he's exhausted. Okay, and if he's exhausted, then you go to the high spot tired, and here you can see there's more finishers. There's more moves to like really finish off the guy here. Okay, so and then you also have your outside of the ring chart. So you have that for if the guys are going outside. So that's the main charts you really need, are the outside the ring, the high spot tired, and the high spot. Those are the separate charts you'll need when running a match. Okay, so and then also, what's also cool about this game is you also have referees here. So referees, you could choose which referee you want for your match. Excuse me. So they have Earl Hebner, Brian Hebner, Jackson James, and these guys come in the TNA set, the 2011 TNA set. And then they also have adjustments for disqualification, countouts, pins, submissions, and blood. So here you can see um, between Earl and Brian. Um, the countouts here. So the only thing Earl is affecting is countouts, and countouts happen if you're outside the ring, and after your third roll if you're still outside the ring, then you roll you roll dice and see you roll the 10 you roll two d6s and see if they add up. So one, you're still good for your third move. If you get to your fourth move, then you'd roll. If you rolls a 5, then you'd be counted out of the ring. And then if it's like the next move up, and you're still outside, if you roll 7, then you're counted out of the ring. So, and then these guys also add for disqualifications, adding numbers or minusing numbers and whatnot. So for this particular match, we'll just keep it at Earl Hebner, who's just doing normal countouts here for demonstration purposes. Okay, so I think I'll get to the match here and just kind of show you how it plays. There are more details, obviously, like if you have different like tag teams and whatnot. Another thing here I wanted to show on the card, it says bonus, so this kind of shows you the set that it's kind of coming from, what kind of card it is. So bonus card is just saying that Bruno was a bonus card, as opposed to someone like, say, I guess Gail Kim, let's say, shows that she's from 2011. So Gail Kim, she's from the TNA set. It'd be nice if he would have put TNA, but it shows that she's from the 2011 set. So, anyways, we're gonna get to how a match runs here. All right, so what we do is we're gonna roll the dice here. So again, Bruiser Costa is 8 endurance, so I have him here at 8 endurance. See, this is the endurance track here, so I have him at 8. Bruno, he's actually at a 10, so he's not. They don't even have 10 on the map here on the chart, so I'm just gonna mark him off here. And when he gets to closer to 8, then I'll move him up points here. So we start the match, and if there's a tie in the beginning, if both guys say are even, because there's some guys that are just even, right? So someone, let's say like George Animal Steel is even, so he doesn't make any adjustments to dice rolls. So if you have two guys that are even and you roll the same dice at the beginning of the match, then you make a reroll again. But once a guy has control and you roll the dice and they're even, the guy who had control on the previous turn, he just gets automatic control. Okay, so let's roll a match here. I'll try and get rules as they go and try and explain things here as the match goes on. So again, Bruiser Costa is the blue, Sammartino is the red, and so remember that Bruno gets a +1 to his dice roll. Bruiser Costa is a -1 to his dice roll. So we roll the dice, and Bruiser is a -1, so he's a 5. Bruno is a 2, but Bruiser is going to get to start the match because he rolled for control. So Bruiser Costa locking up the living legend. Now remember, I said the blue dice is the 10 dice, and then the red will be the single. And then we also roll this white dice to see if he was going to go to the high spot chart. I rolled a 3, so he doesn't. So then we go to this chart, 43. So 43 on this chart here for Bruiser Costa is a short arm clothesline. Big short arm clothesline caught Bruno Sammartino. So then he moves down a point. So now Bruno is at 9 endurance. Then we roll for control again. So this time Bruno rolls a 4. So his 4 is actually a 5. Bruiser is a 3, but he's a -1, so he's actually a 2. So Bruno Sammartino has 1 control. We roll all 3 dice. Nothing came up. No 6s came up on the white dice. And so now it's a 22. because that is the 10. So 22. 22 on Sammartino's card is a tie up in ropes. Tie up in the ropes. So he's got Bruiser Costa backed up. He probably laid some shots. Tie up in the ropes. Bruno doesn't have an ally, so the ally would be a manager or somebody else, at ringside. He doesn't have any, so he just tied him up. So Bruiser is tied up in the ropes, and he takes 1 point of damage. So now he's at 7. So it's 9-7 for Sammartino. Sammartino, 6 and a 5. So Sammartino gets control, and we roll the dice. Oh, and Sammartino got a 6. So now, instead of rolling on his brawler chart, he's going to roll on the high spot chart. We roll on the high spot chart. There's 2 of them. We roll on just the high spot chart because Bruiser Costa isn't tired yet. He hasn't reached 0. Okay, so we're just rolling on the high spot chart. So we roll the dice. It is a 45. 45 on the high spot chart is a 2-point move. And then double would be if it was a tag team. There's no tag team, this is a single match. So 2-point move. Now, you could either, for this 2-point move, you could either go with the color that's here, white, or you could roll the 2 dice and then see what the color is. I'm going to roll the 2 dice. So you have the 2 options, the way to do it, but I just will roll the 2 dice. I get a 21. So 21 on this card, and the colors are the same. So I just want to show you. The colors are the same no matter what card you have. Red, top, blue, okay? So the colors are the same no matter what chart you have that you're reading from. Now, Bruno rolled a 21. So 21 color would be an orange. Okay, so orange for Sammartino. 21 orange for Sammartino would be a press slam. So he's doing a press slam, orange. So that does 2 points of damage because it's a signature move. So now Bruiser Costa is down to 5 endurance points. One other thing I forgot to say too is, okay, so when they have the bold moves here, so if Bruno did this body slam in red, then that gives him an automatic roll on his on the high spot chart. He has an automatic, he has an automatic control. Let me just make sure and check that out. Yes, okay. So if Bruno rolls his body slam here, which is the bold italic here, as compared to the other ones, if he rolls that, then Bruno gets to make an automatic roll on the high spot chart, which would be this chart here. So that's what happens when you roll the bold move, which is a lot closer to putting on a finisher. So Bruno was in control, and we go back to the control roll, and it's 9-5 right now for Bruno. So we roll again. So now Costa, he has a clear advantage. He rolled a blue 6 to Sammartino's 1. So now we roll the dice. And so nothing special on the white dice. So we go to Costa's chart here. It's a 13. 13 is a go behind and take down and roll up pin. So he takes down Sammartino. He takes a point of damage. And then he goes for a pin on Sammartino. So now we have to decide. We have a savvy here, which allows us to kick out automatically. The finisher counters only if he's doing a finishing move. That he is not. He's only doing a pin. So you could use the savvy automatically if you want. And this is part of the game here, like where you have to decide, do you want to use your savvy to just automatically kick out? But then once you use it, then it's gone, right? So otherwise, Bruno has to roll above a 22 to get out of this pin. So let's see what happens. We're going to take the chance. We're going to save the savvy. Now, another rule with this is if a player is exhausted again means if he reaches his endurance in the negative side, then the savvies and the finisher counters are gone. If you have them saved up and you've reached the negative side of your endurance, whatever your endurance number is, you lose all that, okay? So 11 to 22 is probably hard. So Bruno, let's see if he kicks out of this. We're gonna save our savvy. And a 26, he kicked out. He just kicked out. So he kicked out. The match goes on. He still has his savvy in case for later if he's in a lot of trouble. So Bruiser is a 2. Sammartino is a 4. So Sammartino has control. Sammartino now rolls a 21. There's nothing special on the right dice. So a 21 is a neck breaker. Big neck breaker by the living legend. And Bruiser Costa is down to 4. Bruiser Costa is down to 4. Sammartino now. So remember, Bruiser Costa is a -1. Sammartino is a +1. So Sammartino gets control. Yeah, and Sammartino rolled a 6. So he's going to the high spot chart. And a 44 on the high spot chart. 44 is a body slam. Body slam. Now this is just a 1-point move, even though it was on the high spot chart. So a big body slam by Bruno. Slams the big guy down. Remember, Bruiser is a heavyweight guy, but Sammartino has the strength to pick him up. So Sammartino picks him up and slams Costa down in the mat. And now Sammartino still with the advantage here. So nothing on the white dice. So a 63 on his brawler card. 63. He's going to throw... he's throwing Costa into the ring post. He threw him right into the ring post. Costa bumped off that ring post, so he takes another point of damage. Now, it doesn't say out. Out would be out of the ring. This just says throws into the ring post. So he was thrown into the turnbuckle and he hit the ring post. And that's got to hurt. Costa taking a big bump off that ring post. And now Costa is going to have the advantage because he's -1. So that's a 4. Sammartino goes up. That's a 3. But Costa has the advantage now. Costa now with a 63. Nothing happened on the white dice. So 63 for Costa. As he throws... He threw Sammartino into the ring post. So Bruno takes a point of damage. And now Bruno actually has to check for a cut because it said cut. So now we go to the Sammartino card here and you see his cut rating is 11 to 23. So he rolled a 31. So no cut because if he rolled 11 to 23, he'd be cut. Rolled a 31, no cut. All right, so back to control. And Bruiser Costa now in control as he's got Sammartino going here a bit here. And a 66, nothing on the white dice, 66, mounted punches as he's laying into Bruno. So Bruno takes another point of damage there. He's down to 6. Costa is at 2. But Costa now, he is in control. Now he goes down to a 5. Bruno goes up to a 6. So Bruno gets control. And Bruno with a 55. That Italian blood is flowing now. He snap mirrors the big man over. Costa goes down as he got snap mirrored over. And now to Sammartino trying to take over now. The living legend, 55 for the living legend. There's another snap mirror. He snaps him right over. He's working on that neck of Bruiser Costa. Now Costa is down to 0. So when you get to 0, now you've become tired. You become tired. And when you become tired, then you're going to add the adjustment to your pins and submissions now. So Bruiser Costa is tired. Sammartino wearing him down. And a 53 for Sammartino. He's in control. And a 54. Nothing on the 1. So 54 is a running bulldog by the living legend. And Costa is down and he is hurt by that big bulldog by the living legend, Bruno Sammartino. Sammartino now again in control. And a 21 for Bruno. 21. Neckbreaker by Sammartino. Now Costa's down to -2. Bruno again in control. The living legend now pouring it on. 65 for Bruno. Sends Costa into the rope and a big running clothesline. And the big man goes down. And now he's down to -3. Bruno, again, because of the control, he goes up 1, so 4. Costa goes down 3, so the living legend in control now. And a 15 for Sammartino. 15. Big chop block to Bruiser Costa. And he's really wearing him down. See, Costa's down to a -4. Sammartino is still comfortably at a 6. But now Costa looking to get advantage now. Costa raked him in the eyes. Oh, and Costa going to the high spot chart. So 43 on the high spot chart. Costa. Okay, so he's going to get a 2-point move. So we roll the dice here. See what that color it will be. So a 63. 63 is pink. So we go to Costa's pink move. And he just back raked the living legend. He just scratched his back. That's a 2-point move. So Sammartino is at a 6, goes down to a 4. Off that big back rake by Bruiser Costa. And now, so he goes down to a 2. Sammartino goes up to a 2. But since Costa had the advantage last time, it is Bruiser Costa who's in control on that tie. And Costa now, 1-11. An 11, he does a big running clothesline to the living legend. So Bruno's down to 3. The Costa is down to a -4. And Costa now, he is in control. He is in control. He's got the living legend going here. And a 12 for Costa. A 12 for Costa is a thumb to the throat. He just thumbed the living legend right in the throat. Bruno down to 2. And now Costa, he could be disqualified because you saw there was a DQ. So if he rolls between 11 and 52, he is disqualified. And a 21, Bruiser Costa has been disqualified. The referee has called the bell. All right, the winner of this contest, as a result of a disqualification, the living legend, Bruno Sammartino. Bruno Sammartino wins. He doesn't want to win it that way after Costa, with that heavily taped thumb, thumbed him right in the throat, right in front of the referee. And the referee, I bet you probably warned Costa earlier in the match, and then decided to disqualify him. And Costa, you can see, shoving the referee. And Bruno now going after Bruiser Costa. They're going at it. Bruiser Costa and the living legend. Costa getting out of the ring. So there you have it. That is Downey Games TV Pro Wrestling 2 presented in color. Presented in color. There it is. Alright, now my review. What do I think of this game? I love this game, guys. This game is awesome. This game is one of the top wrestling games out there. It has been out, I believe, in this version since 2006. There are expansions for it where you could be the older guys. Again, the deluxe version just came with, at that time, I guess, the newer set that for 2011. But this game, guys, it is great. It has all these different charts. It has ranking systems. It has guys get cut. They have a cut rating. They have control ratings for the dice. They have guys get kick out of finishers. Whoever's supposed to be in control is kind of in control. And, like any other game, of course, this is a dice rolling game, so anything can happen in a dice rolling game. But this game, from what I have played of this game, the outcome results to me have been favorable. That I like. I have enjoyed the outcomes of this. I've enjoyed playing this game. Just because I enjoy playing this game, I'm not knocking any other wrestling game out there. I'm just saying that this particular game, it is a fun wrestling game. It is really truly a really good game. That is using all these different things. If you want, things to happen in the match, a story to tell, then you have those charts that are able to make a story happen. We didn't get to a lot of these charts. They have, wild events and in the match and that type of thing. And, anything can happen, and, you can make your story how you want to make your story. And it's great. This is so good. And they have the nice color coded charts. Bruiser Costa, if the match probably would have gone a little longer, he was probably going to lose, right? He was in the minuses. Bruno still had two. Bruiser Costa was at a -4, and Bruno, for the most part, he was controlling the match, right? Um, if again, if Bruiser Costa would have been exhausted, he started at an 8. So if he would have got to -8, then he would be exhausted, and then Bruno on the white dice that I was rolling would be able to roll on a 1 or a 6 uh, to try and go to the high spot chart, and then you go to the tired high spot chart, because Bruiser's he's tired even. So even after the 0, if you try and roll at 6, you would go to the tired chart, and then there's more finishers or 2-point moves and that to try and finish off the guy. So to me, the matches play to me at a nice decent pace. Here I'm trying to explain the match to you guys and trying to try and show you the flow of the match and that. But to me, the matches play at a nice pace. You're getting everything in this, guys. You're getting the different ratings, for disqualification, for cuts. You're getting different types of reputation points and heat factors for storylines. You're getting the charts for different storylines. You could have you have your tag matches that play just as easy as this. Just as easy as playing a one-on-one match. And for tag matches, all you would have to do, once you rolled for control to establish the control, if you want to tag your partner, you tag him in, and then he comes in and rolls for his move. And again, I'll show you a tag card. So this is the Road Warriors, and then it shows you both their control ratings, and then it tells you this guy Hawk is an all round, so you would get his all round card. Animal's a power, so you get his power card, and then they have their 2-point moves here, their signature moves, and then if they do any double team moves or finishers, and so yeah, it's all on the cards, guys. It's not difficult to play at all. There is a few rules to get a little used to, like any other game when you're playing for the start. And I would just say, if you're into this, if you want to give it a go, just kind of play it at a nice little speed, get used to rolling, the control rolls, and, looking, at the start of the game, try and figure out, like, okay, Bruno has a +1 to his control roll, so I got to look for that. Bruiser has a -1 to his control roll, and then after that, it's just simply rolling on the charts and just, trying to figure out what moves they do. It's not difficult at all, guys. It is a really nice, easy flowing game, and it plays really nice. It really does. Once you have the little finer details down, the game gets even better, even better. So yeah, this is an awesome game, guys. I highly recommend this game. I've played quite a few matches already. I had Bruno play against Bruiser before, and Bruno beat him with his bear hug. And it was great. I had Andre Russell. I think it was Ox Baker. He sat on Ox Baker and beat him. And yeah, there's the game. The results I'm getting, I'm really loving, guys. It's really good. The expansions again. I guess the only downside is if you want something shipped out to you, they don't do the shipping anymore. Everything is print. You have to print it off a PDF files that get sent to you. So that may be one of the negatives of this game, that everything's on PDF, but then you don't have to worry about shipping, right? Comes right to US, trade it, put it on a USB stick, take it to your Staples or wherever, Office Depot, or print it off at home, and away you go. So great game. I really love it. I have nothing but good things to say about it. And again, they have all kinds of different referees. Here's some from the WWE set where there's Mike Chioda, Jack Doan. Each guy has his own different ratings in that. Um, and this is just wonderful, guys. Wonderful game. You keep stats, like I said, on the paper, or you could do it on the board, like here on these charts. Or again, if you have some sort of Excel helper or whatever, if you're computer whiz, then go that way. But and again, and then also like another maybe a thing about this is like maybe the look of the game. It doesn't maybe look appealing to guys that play maybe like Phil Singer games because they have the nice art on the wrestling cards and that. But the way the match flows with the control systems and that, it seems like it has different different games kind of wrapped into one with this one, and it really plays really nice, guys. So um, again, this is a really good game, guys. I cannot recommend this game enough. I would, I got TV Pro Wrestling 2 here. I want to see. I've heard people say about the first one, even that the first one is really good. The first TV Pro Wrestling. Um, so I don't know. I would hope to get more of TV Pro Wrestling 2. I would like to see maybe somebody else do a video on the first one, and maybe try that out and see how that goes and see how these two compare. But apparently, there's a lot of people that actually who play the first one and really like the first one better than number two. So I don't know. Be up to you guys to see which one works for you. There's a whole lot more expansion for the first one than there is for the second one, though. That's for sure. So, but anyways, a great game, guys. It is, I cannot highly recommend this enough. If you're a wrestling fan, do yourself a favor, get this game right away. It has everything in it, right? Every time, every little detail of wrestling is in this game. It is truly amazing and plays really nice. So, Downey Games, TV Pro Wrestling 2, presented in color. I will try and put a link if you're not familiar. And I just want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I'm trying to bring content to you that you don't usually find, and I feel like I'm like the wrestling game whisperer that I find these games and then I explain it to the people here. But I thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If this has helped you in any way, please give me a thumbs up, or leave a comment, and thanks for hanging with me. I know I don't put out video content all the time, but when I do, I try and have you guys in mind and try and hopefully, bring games, books, whatever to your liking, and that helps you make your purchases when you do. Okay, so thanks again for watching, guys. Hopefully see you in another video soon. Take care, and God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.